and welcome to Gierok Farms. Today we have an exciting one for you. We are finally going to get to use this brand new Ranchworx Aerator. I've been waiting all summer for this. We finally got a stretch of dry days here, and we're about halfway through the hay season and grazing season, and this is prime time for us in our area to revitalize our pastures and some of our hay fields and help extend them throughout the growing season here until fall. And today we're going to use this tool to help us do that. For those of you who have been following along with all my videos know that this Aerator showed up this spring. We decided to purchase one. We were very happy with what we've seen from the last year's model. And then over the winter I found out that they came out with this new model, and we decided we had to have it. Anyways, to touch on some of the details before we get started here, and some of the differences between this model and last year's model. So last year's model was an SB 12 by 36, and this is a 12 by 36 as well. The drum is very similar. It is 12 feet wide, and the drum is 36 inches in diameter. And it still has those Ranch Tech blades that are built to last a lifetime. They're 6 inches and they are just stout. You're not going to break one of these off, that's for sure. But anyways, this is the SC model instead of the SB model. So with the SC model, they made some improvements. They made it even stronger than the last model, which I found hard to believe, to be honest, because the SB model was already so stout and strong, and there really isn't a lot to go wrong on these. I was kind of confused. I was like, how can you improve it? But they did. So one of the things they've improved is they redid this bridge design here for that drawbar add-on. So if I wanted to, I could buy a drawbar that bolts onto the top of this bridge and would come out the back here, so I could hook on extra implements like a drag or a spring tooth harrow, some people call it, if I wanted to use that in junction with this to incorporate some manure as this aerates in front of it. I also had a thought that with a row crop situation, maybe like a set of rolling baskets on a drawbar would be nice behind this thing to help incorporate some of that residue or fertilizer. So anyways, they upgraded that, they changed that, they made that even more seamless and easy to use. They upgraded the lifting system here for the landing gear. I believe that cylinder is a lot bigger. From what I remember, it looks a lot bigger than the last model, because this drum we can fill with water, and currently it is completely full of water. So I'll have to look up the specs and throw them on the screen of how much this thing weighs fully loaded with water, but it's definitely a lot of weight. You need a stout cylinder to do that, so that's been improved upon. Another thing is these pins here. On the last model they were bolts, and these pins are a lot bigger, a heck of a lot thicker, so they should last a lot longer and be a lot stronger. Even though with the last model with those big bolts, I didn't see those ever wearing out. From what I've seen, Ranchworx isn't a company to just sit stagnant. They're always going to improve and build upon something, even if it's already kind of perfected and good. They're always going to keep improving, and this is a prime example of that. Another thing I want to touch on is that sticker right there, which is really important. Made in the USA. This entire setup is made in the US. Just gives a guy peace of mind that it's built tough, it's built to last, and it employed fellow Americans. So anyways, that's just a quick look at this new model, the SC 12 by 36. As you can see, looking at the blades, I couldn't contain myself. I had to use it a little bit on our way out here. One of the things I want to do with it today is we've been busy harvesting second crop and mowing some of our pastures to help, push back on some of the weed pressure and get some regrowth. I want to use this to help break up some compaction. So along this hillside, it can get very, very hard, especially up top towards the road. So we're going to run this across it to help with that. We also have a week of rain in the forecast, so by aerating this, we're going to help hold on to some of that moisture and avoid some soil erosion. But I'll get into that with more detail once we use it a little here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I got a really good way to show that. But anyways, let's put this thing to work and have some fun. enjoying myself out here pulling this implement behind me. It's pulling really nice and easy, even with a full drum of water. I made maybe like 6 or 7 passes up here on this hillside where compaction is a big issue. Another thing I want to point out, and you've probably seen it as we were going along here, is how dry it is. This year we've had rains every, seems like 4th or 3rd day. It's been really hard to make any hay, but we had a stretch here where we really didn't get much for rain, and this implement works really well. This Ranchworx Aerator works really well when it's dry. That impact of the blade against some dry soil really creates that fracturing effect that we're looking for to break up that compaction and aerate the soil and create those little pockets for water to filter through instead of just running across the top of the soil. So I really like what we're doing out here. The conditions are really well. If you watched last year's video with that other aerator, it wasn't the ideal conditions for it. It was a very wet year. It's very saturated all year up until the fall. But this summer here, we're getting a little break here in the middle of summer where we can finally start using this in some ideal conditions, and I'm excited about it. Much like planting corn, the dust is flying. That's a good thing. So the soil's right for this today. I want to get out of the cab here and kind of show you what we're doing to the soil. So as we're going along, those 6-inch blades are impacting the soil, and they're not tearing and pulling, they're impacting and creating that fracturing effect. And then they're also creating a nice pocket for manure, fertilizer, water, things like that to collect in. And it also is allowing some oxygen to get into the soil. All right, we're gonna make one more half pass to kind of complete our test area, our revitalization project here, and I want to use that half pass to show you guys how well soil retains water after going over it with this aerator. So made our half pass here, moved up a pass up the hill, and now I want to show you guys how well this soil will collect water now. So our drum is full of water. We got a plug here that we're going to crack, and we're going to keep it open for, you know, a couple seconds, 5-10 seconds, and then we'll measure how far our water makes it, and then we'll move ahead to the non-aerated soil and see how far that water runs then. Alright, you guys ready? Woo! I don't know how scientifically accurate that was, but enough time to be surprised with how much pressure there was, and then collect my thoughts and then start counting to 5 seconds. Not the worst thing on a hot summer day, I guess, to get splashed here, but anyways, so you seen we had a large gush of water come shooting out of there. We were hitting the ground probably somewhere right in here, but we'll measure from the frame where we started to lose water to where it ended out here. All right, so 6 paces out from where the aerator sits. As you can see, the pockets that we have are already collecting water. I think with the way the stream was going, we were probably landing right in here. So I think truly we only maybe had 2.5 feet of travel here, and our pockets are already catching that water. Especially in a dry year, this would really come in handy, because we could maximize the rainfall we do get, especially during those peak summer months like July and August in our region, where things really start to dry up. This allows us to utilize all that rainfall and incorporate it into the soil rather than let it run down the hill. Especially in our area, the rainfall we do get in the months of July and August tend to be thunderstorms, and a lot of rainfall comes fast at one time. It's hot, it's a heck of a storm. So it's not a good soaking rain, I guess is what I'm trying to say. There's a lot of washing. So we're gonna try to catch that the best we can by using a tool like this. And then the flip side of that is on a really wet year, if you can get out there and aerate it, you're gonna help prevent that erosion by allowing that excessive rainfall to actually work its way into the soil profile rather than just continuously rushing across the top. Especially in our hilly area here, as you can see, and the camera doesn't even do it justice. It's probably twice as much as what the camera shows for slope. Right in here alone, it's probably a 30% slope in spots, and that is steep. That's not an easy piece of ground to farm or manage soil and retain moisture, but this tool here is gonna allow us to do that. But I shouldn't brag it up too much here. We still got to complete the test, but I know what's going to happen. So we're gonna pull ahead here to our non-aerated portion and see how far our water gets here. All right, so we pulled ahead here, non-aerated portion of the field. It's the same amount of slope as where we initially tested there. Same crop, same type of rotation, same field. We're literally 15 yards away. So let's see how this goes here. Try not to soak myself again. And we'll get you guys a shot of where it actually is hitting the ground and what it's doing. About the same amount of time frame, actually less water pressure. It didn't shoot out as far, and you can see how there's nothing to catch this water other than some of the residue on top, and just look at how much it's running here. It just keeps going here. I don't even think I have to walk it out for you guys. I think depth here is showing us enough, and there are no stage camera tricks here. This is real world here. This is pretty obvious. We got water all the way till here, and she starts to stop. Just out of curiosity, we'll walk it out here. We're about a good 14 sloppy paces down the hill. If I would have stacked up my foot one after another, it would have been more than that. Just looking at the soil here, looking at how much washed and how much soil was pushed is all the explanation I need. It's pretty obvious here. So that's just one of the many tests that I want to put this thing through to showcase to you guys how valuable of a tool it can be. But I want to hop up in the cab. We got a little more I want to do, some other spots I want to revitalize and improve. So let's get back to work. And there you have it. We did another couple acres here on this hillside. We're trying to maximize our permanent pasture here. This has been in grass for a long time. Dad, he had it in corn, I think, way back in the late 90s. So it's been a while since it's been rotated. And typically for this field, we will just harvest first crop hay off of it. Since it's right next to our pile, we just normally end up chopping it. And then it's grazed the rest of the year, which works out nice because it's next to the other pastures, and it's near the home farm, so we're able to keep an eye on it when it comes to having cattle in it with just a temporary electric fence. But an issue we run into, being it's such a valuable piece, if we keep it in grass, we don't get the benefits of rotating it out. And it's not an ideal cornfield to begin with anyways, so we just keep it in grass. But a tool like this allows us to make a no-till pass through the field that in a way mimics a rotation where you would be digging up that soil and restarting. So we're trying to revitalize some of our permanent pasture here without having to pull it out of that rotation, which is extremely valuable to us. And that's where a tool like this Ranchworx Aerator comes in. So I think one of the first aeration projects of the summer is complete. I'm really happy with how the new model handled, and I'm excited to see what the results are here with this week of rain. And I know last year, even with the moisture, there was a defined line when it came to suppressing weeds. As you can see out in the field, there's some of those tall white broadleaves. Passes I made with the Ranchworx Aerator last year suppress those. So there's more than one benefit when it comes to using this thing. And we'll be using it some more this summer during those windows of opportunity. A huge thank you to Ranchworx for allowing me to showcase this to you guys and bringing this implement to my attention and allowing us to maximize our farm. As you guys know, land is not cheap, and if you can utilize it to the best of your ability by implementing a tool like this on the farm, it's a no-brainer. So we, as farmers, we all like to maximize our ground, and this is definitely a solid piece of the puzzle. So huge thank you to Ranchworx. Like I said, this is the new model. This is the 12-foot by 36 drum, the SC. Last year I had the SB. A lot of similarities, but a lot of improvements as well. And as for size, it's not just the 12-footer. They come in a wide ranges of sizes to fit your operation and your needs. And you can get some pretty wide versions of this. So make sure to check them out. I will have their information down in the description, some contact info and their website and things like that. Anyways, I'm going to end off this video here. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for the support. Like I said, remember to go check out Ranchworx. Let us know what you think down in the comments. Leave your questions down there as well. We will try our best to answer those. Share it with your friends. Like it if you enjoyed it. And we will see you all next time.